Good day, everyone. You're welcome to our special class today. Today we are looking at quadratic equation, and majorly we are going to be looking at factorizing quadratic equation. So what I'm going to do today is to teach you simple ways you can factorize your quadratic equation. Generally, we know that the general form of quadratic equation, is given as as squared plus bs plus c equals to 0. So, is a polynomial of degree 2 and the right side is equated to what? To 0. So let's look at how to factorize quadratic equation. So let's start with this example. We have the first one there, we have s squared plus 3x minus 10 is equals to 0. It's very simple. Just find two number with product equals to minus 10. The product of the two numbers must be minus 10. And the sum is equals to 3. Now this position is sum, while this position is product. So looking at that, what are the possible numbers? This way we are going to use minus 5 plus 5 minus 3, which is the sum. This will give us, here is 2. This will give us plus 3. Y plus 5 times minus 2 will give us minus 10. So you can see that the sum, two numbers you add together to give you plus 3 is plus 5 and minus 2. And two numbers you multiply to give you minus 10 is plus 5 and minus 2. So the two numbers are 5 and minus 2. So just open a bracket. Open the first bracket. S plus 5 bracket S minus 2 will be equals to 0. This will be equals to 0. And if you look at that, so it's either your s plus 5 will be equals to 0 or your s minus 2 will be equals to 0. So your s is equals to minus 5 or is 2. So when you take this to the other side, it becomes what? Plus. And when you take this to the other side, it becomes what? Minus. So that will be answer to that. Will be the answer to that. Now the second question, there's s squared minus 9 is equals to 0. You can solve this by saying s squared is equals to 9. Take 9 to the other side, it becomes plus. Then if you take this square to the other side, take square, it becomes plus or minus the square root of 9. So your s will be equals to plus or minus 3. Alternatively, we can say s squared minus 9 is equals to 0. S squared minus 3 squared is equals to 0. Because 9 is 2, 3 raised to the power of 2. And this will give us s minus 3 all square will be equals to 0. This is what we call difference of two squares in mathematics. So you have s minus 3 bracket s plus 3 will be equals to 0. And this will give you, you have your x here, your s will be equals to 3, or your s will be equals to minus 3. So s is the same thing as plus or minus 3 as we get from here. So you can use any of this method to to get your answer. Now let's take this example. You have s plus 3 all square is equals to 4. Then b, we are asked to factorize s minus 2 whole number 1 over 2 all square is equals to 6 whole number 1 over 4. So let's solve from a solution. Let's look at the a. You have s plus 3 all square is equals to 4. Remember, if you take this square to this side, it becomes plus or minus. So you have x plus 3 is plus or minus the square root of 4. S plus 3 is equals to plus or minus 2. The square root of 4 is 2. And so your s will be equals to, take minus 3 to this side, you have 3 plus or minus 2. So it's either x is equals to minus 3 plus 2 or s is equals to minus 3 minus 2. So finally, our answer there, you have x, you have your x will be equals to, here is minus 1, or your s, this is or your s will be equals to minus 5. Then for b, we have x minus 2 whole number 1 over 2 square is equals to 6 whole number 1 over 4. So this will give us, this is square, this will give us s minus 2 times 2 is 4 plus this, that is 5 over 2 all square will be equals to 25 over 4. 4 times 6 is 24 plus 1 is 25. So if you take your square to the other side, you have s minus 5 over 2 will be equals to plus or minus the square root of what? Of 25 over 4. So s minus 5 over 2 is plus or minus your 5 over 2. So if I take minus 5 over 2 to the other side, I will have x will be equals to 5 over 2. It's minus here, become plus or minus 5 over 2. So it's either s is equals to 5 over 2 plus 5 over 2 or 5 over 2 minus 5 over 2. And if you solve that, your final answer will be equals to 5 over 2 plus 5 over 2 is 5, or 5 over 2 minus 5 over 2, that will give you what? 0. So our final answer here is what? 5 or what? Or 0. 5 or 0. Now let's look at the case. In this case, we have the quotient of s squared greater than 1. 2s squared plus 11s minus 2 is equals to, minus 21 is equals to 0. Solution. Quickly, we have a is 2s squared minus 11s minus 21 is equals to 0. So the first thing I will do is to multiply any number that stands by s squared, multiply it with this. We say multiply a by c. So any number that stands there, multiply 2 times minus 21 to give you minus 42. Then the next thing is to find two number with product is equals to minus 42, and the sum is equals to minus 11. Oh yes, plus 11. So what are are the two numbers? The two numbers is plus 14 times minus 3. Plus 14 times minus 3 will give me minus 42. In the same way, I have if I add the two together, plus 14 minus 3 will give me plus 11. So then the next step I need to do is to replace, I will replace 11 with, where you have 11s with these two numbers with 14x minus 3. So this is the two number. Find two number with the product minus 4 and the sum is plus 11. So you have your, we said it's minus 40 times minus 3 to get minus 42. And we have plus 14. This is plus 14 times minus 3 to get minus 42. And here you have your plus 14 minus 3 will give you plus 11. Then the next step I said is to replace 11s with 14s minus 3s. And that will give you what? 11s. So the equation becomes 2s squared plus 14s minus 3s minus 21 is equals to 0. So you factorize by grouping them. If you factorize by grouping them, then we'll have what is common here is 2s. 2s into bracket s plus 7. Then what is common here is 3 into s plus 7 equals to 0. So 2s is multiplying this, minus 3s is multiplying the same thing. So you open, you have 2s minus 3 bracket s plus 7 will be equals to 0. And if you solve that, the final answer here will be equals to s will be equals to 3 over 2, or s is equals to minus 7. So that will be our final answer from this equation. Equals to 2 over 3 or minus 4 over 7. Now we have 6s squared minus 17s plus 12 is equals to 0. So first of all, we multiply 6 times 12. That will give us 72. Then check for, find two number with product 72 and sum is minus 17. So we have minus 9 times minus 8 is equals to 17, and minus 9 minus 8 plus minus 8 will be equals to minus 17. So what I need to do, the equation will become, remember we replace 6s squared minus 8s minus 9s plus 12 will be equals to 0. So what we did is to replace your 17 with 9 and 8. You put that in the place of 17. And the equation will still remain the same. Then if you factorize by grouping, factorize it by grouping, what is common here is 2s. So here you have s minus 4. Then what is common here is what? Is minus 3. There will be 3x. Here is 3x. 3s minus 4 equals to 0. Remember, if the minus multiply the minus, become plus 12. So don't forget that. So we have our 2s minus 3 bracket 3s minus 4 will be equals to 0. So, and if you solve that, if you take this to the other side, so you have your either 2s minus 3 equals to 0 or 3s minus 4 will be equals to 0. So finally, we get our x. Our s will be equals to minus 3 over, no, plus 3 over 2, or s will be equals to 4 over 3, which is our final answer. Our final answer. Now I want to see how we can form a quadratic equation if the roots are given. Generally, the equations which roots are alpha and beta, equation which roots are alpha and beta is given as s squared minus alpha plus beta plus alpha beta is equals to 0. Plus alpha beta is equals to 0. So that is the general method of determining a quadratic equation if the two roots are given to you. Okay, let's look at some example. We can also use alternative method, as I will show you later. Example, find the quadratic equation whose roots are 1. We have 4 and 5. 4 and 5, or 5 and 4. Then we also have 2. 2 we have minus 1 over 2 and 3. Then finally we have 4. We have 3 here. 3 we have 3 over 4 and minus 2 over 3. So we are going to determine the quadratic equation that have this root. So A, that's the first one. We have alpha is equals to 5 and beta is equals to 4. These are the two quadratic roots. These are the root of the quadratic equation. So, you know that alpha plus beta will be equals to 5 plus 4, which is 9. Then you have alpha times beta, which is alpha beta, is equals to 5 times 4, which is 20. So if we use that our formula, if we use s squared minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta is equals to 0, then it means that the quadratic equation will be equals to s squared minus alpha plus beta is 9s plus what? Plus 20 will be equals to 0. So, but alternatively, you can also solve the equation back. That is what I mean. Alternatively, you can say one of the equation is, one of the roots is s is equals to 5 or s is equals to 4. You remember, this is the final thing we got when we factorize quadratic equation. So if we solve it back, if we solve it back, we are going to have x minus 5 bracket s minus 4 will be equals to 0. And if we expand this equation, you have s squared, s times 4 is minus, s times s is s squared, s times 4 is minus 4x, minus 5 times s is minus 5x, minus 5 times minus 5 is equals to 20. This will be equals to 0. And means that s squared minus 9s plus 20 will be equals to 0. So which is the same thing as what we get initially. So you can use any of these two methods to solve. So let's look at the B question. So B, you have alpha is equals to minus 1 over 2 and beta. So you have your alpha plus beta is minus 1 over 2 plus 3. The LCM is 2. So you have 2 here, that is minus 1 plus 6. So alpha beta is 5 over 2. Alpha plus beta is 5 over 2. While your alpha beta is minus 1 over 2 times 3. And that would be equals to minus 3 over 2. So if you use the formula s squared minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta is equals to 0. So you have your s squared will give you minus 5 over 2x, 5 over 2s. Then this one is also minus 3 over 2 equals to 0. And if you multiply through by 2, you have 2s squared minus 5s minus 3 will be equals to 0. So this becomes the quadratic equation. So I want to use the other formula. You have the C. You see you have alpha is equals to 3 over 4 and beta. So I will say S is equals to 3 over 4 or S is equals to minus 2 over 3. And your 4S will be equals to 3 or your 3S will be equals to minus 2, equals to minus 2. So when we simplify this, we have 4s minus 3 bracket 3s minus 2 is equals to 0. So what do we do? So if we open this, like what you can see here, open this, you have 4s minus 3 bracket 3s plus 2 is equals to 0. So we have 4s times 3s is 12s squared plus 4s times 2 will give you plus 8x minus 3 times will give you minus and 9s minus 3 times 2 will give you minus. So here our final answer here we have minus x, 8s minus 9s is minus x. Then you have what? Minus, you have your minus 6. Have your minus 6 equals to 0. So thank you very much. Always keep a date with us. Don't forget to tell others about what we are doing right here in Mathematics Revelation. Spread our channel through all your social media network. And God bless you as you do that. Our next topic, we are looking at method of completing the square, and the formula method of solving quadratic equation. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next class. God bless you.